Welcome back. Yeah, we're in Pasadena because we are at the Post Parade. Boy, it's a little chilly, but you can wear a nice cozy jacket and come on down. It's really a chance of a lifetime to appreciate the floats like you can't on TV. You can't really even if you are standing along Colorado Boulevard, because now you get up close and in person, and you get an opportunity to appreciate all the detail, all the seeds, all the flowers, all the natural materials that go into these floats. And so I hope you can come on down because it really is a special thing. And if you want to, just go to tournamentofroses.com and you can figure out how to take the shuttle, how to get here. They're open till 5 tonight. And with me is a guy who's here because they have the Bear Advance Theater here. One of the fun things you can do is see a little movie about the making of the floats. Lance Walheim, gardening guru and spokesperson for Bear Advance. So have you seen the movie this year?
I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
I'm in it, but I haven't
oh,
seen
you're in
it.
it?
Yeah.
I'll have to take a look at it, but it's always a fun, quick little 10-minute, 15-minute movie,
It really
a video
is.
that really gives you, again, another layer of appreciation, because there's so many stories about the whole process. It's a year-long process.
Mm-hmm. It really does.
Yeah.
We'll be starting here shortly on the next one. You know,
Yeah.
it goes on 12 months of the year, and people are always asking. They're always fascinated to see what the understructure of the floats look like. And people don't realize that they've got to drive these things for 5 miles. They have to take them out and they have to test drive them.
Yep.
And we've also got on bearadvance.com. We've got a little film that people can watch about last year's float. So
Which
they
was
can
so
compare.
spectacular.
Yeah.
That was the Rose Bowl,
Right.
With the programs and floorographs all around the
Right.
outside of it. Did they save those floorographs?
We do. We have them, yeah. And actually, you can see how popular that was by
Yeah.
the number of floorographs that are out there this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of them, and they are really amazing. I mean, that is really art. If you saw
It is.
the floorographs on the Reagan float,
Yes.
where they basically were in black and white, and they just took, I think it was just rice and onion seeds, and then they mix them together in different proportions.
Different shades of
Yeah,
grays
yeah,
and black.
Yeah, I mean,
so
then
it's
they
a
paint with
sepia
it.
photograph. Yeah, we were talking with Raul Rodriguez about that because he designed that float, and
really?
I think that the floorographs really have become like the new evolution of floats. It's almost like that takes it to that next level where it isn't just about hydraulics and animation, but it's the detail where maybe somebody was using nail clippers to cut a piece of rice just to get the perfect detail on
Right.
that floorograph, which is a picture of a picture enlarged with flowers, right?
Yeah, and it really gives you a chance to kind of celebrate the history of not only California, but of the Rose Parade itself. All these great old, programs and posters and things. It really gives you a feel for what the parade was like years ago.
Yeah. So on this float that you have, the Camelot float, we have the Dick Clark Rose. Because you guys are into helping us grow better roses, is there a commitment to have a certain amount of roses versus other flowers?
Well, we always like to have a lot of roses.
Yeah.
And this year there's over
Which aren't
10,000.
cheap. Those are like among the most expensive.
Yeah, that's right. We had over 10,000 roses on the float
Wow.
this year, and so it's just spectacular when you see how many float. I mean, the detail what these guys work. We talked about the castle and what they did to make the roof of the tallest steeple up there. How they had to iron the bark of these palm trees and then cut them into little 3/4 inch segments and then actually lay them on exactly like a roofer would lay the tiles on. That one roof on that one little spire took the guy 3 days to make.
Wow.
Yeah,
Ironing.
He ironed them all first to get them flat, and then he laid them out just like a roofer.
Isn't that something? And the glue that they use, by the way, I mean, it goes everything from, your typical Elmer's glue to like a florist's glue. And some of the glue can be pretty darn sticky. They say don't get it on your clothing,
Right. We actually had some, we have a lot of volunteers that come, and we have a lot of people that come in for Bear Dance all over the country. And they all want to help out on the float. And, well, one group was putting carnations on the edge with the glue, and they didn't realize that glue gets on your hands, and it's hard to put those flowers on there because you've got the glue.
Yes.
You pull them right back off.
You're stuck to the float.
That's right.
And by the way, speaking of volunteers, it's never too soon to be thinking about next time, because it really is on a lot of people's bucket list. I mean, I was talking with a woman from England, and she had lost her husband, and she said she came out here, and she says there's nothing like getting your hands in some glue to forget your problems, And so you go to tournamentofroses.com, and all the different companies like Beard Advanced, the Fiesta, the Phoenix, all the different professional companies, or even the small communities. They have a phone number and a website, and you can sign up, and then you can say, hey, I'll give of my time just around Christmas, or whatever you want.
The volunteers are so important to get all this work
Yep.
done. I mean, you walk up these streets and see all the work that's involved in these floats, and the majority of it is done by volunteers, people who have been doing it year after year. So, and then all the high school kids and all the college kids. It's spectacular.
Well, so when you see these roses and the beauty in these floats, you go, gosh, can that happen in my garden? I mean, especially when you're looking at the roses, you think of, well, aphids.
Mm-hmm.
Hate the aphids. Will the All-America rose, the Dick Clark rose, be able to keep the aphids away because it's a better version of a rose?
Well, actually, no. The aphids, when we talk about pest resistance, we're basically talking about disease resistance to things like powdery mildew, black spot, and rust. But when it comes to insect pests, they tend to hit everything. I mean, there'll be some, your growing conditions and things will affect whether a pest, how much fertilizer you put on, things that can affect how much the pests attack the plant. But really, pest resistance or insect resistance really isn't there in the roses.
All right. Well, when we come back, we'll talk about some of the new things to keep the insects away and some quick pruning tips, because don't worry, it's okay to trim your roses. You're taking it too seriously. You're listening to Home Wizards. I'm Cindy Dole. We are broadcasting live from the Post Parade, which goes on till 5 tonight. A chance to really see and savor these floats up close and in person. Cindy Dole, we're back right after this. Don't go away. All right. Welcome back, Cindy Dole here on this very special broadcast of Home Wizards, coming to you live from the Post Parade. It is really the only way to take it all in, to see the floats in person, and then you go, wow, did they really make that? How did they do that? It doesn't look like that on TV. It looks so much better. And that's because all the colors come to life and you go, wow, did they paint that? No, they didn't paint that orange. That was a lentil bean. And no, they didn't paint that green. That was a split pea. And the list goes on and on. Of course, they didn't paint the roses either. With me is Lance Walheim, rose expert, works with Bayer Advance as a spokesperson, written all these great books like Roses for Dummies. And people still refer to your website and your books for a lot of gardening care.
Yeah. We still do. We have some great stuff on BearAdvance.com.
Yes.
We have all sorts of little videos on how to care for your roses and how to care for your trees and your lawns. You bet.
So give us some tips for pruning. What should we be doing?
Well, don't be afraid, first of all. People get so anxious about pruning their roses, and the chances are really that they're not going to do any harm. They're going to do good. You're not going to kill the rose because roses are tough. But, why do we prune? First of all, we prune to increase the health of the plant. We open it up. We take off any diseased or damaged pieces of wood. We prune to improve the bloom. It's going to give you bigger blooms or more blooms, or to control size. The best advice is to go out and get a place where you can, if you're really concerned about it, is to, go to some place like the Los Angeles Rose Society or BearAdvance.com, where we've got some illustrations where they can really show you how to prune them, where to make the cuts, and what to do. The thing is not to be worried about it. You take a look, and I think one of the reasons people worry about it is you take a look at the hybrid teas. And the reason, there's very few plants out there that we prune that hard. And the reason we do it is the harder you prune, the bigger, stronger stem flowers that you get. So we're really going after long-stemmed hybrid tea form plants and big ones. If you look at the more modern shrub plants, where we're really looking about quantity of bloom, not necessarily the quality, you can go after those just with head shears and cut them back by a third and forget all this silly stuff, and it's much easier. So that's part of the roses never being easier to grow.
I mean, I have had friends who's, gardeners, quote unquote, did their business, and when the homeowner comes home, I mean, it's just stubs left, on that rose bush.
And that's because they want those big flowers.
So don't worry about that.
Yeah, no, really, you're not going to hurt them. I don't know anybody who's ever really killed a rose by over pruning it, and the chances are you're going to do it more good than harm. So just, get some ideas about the basic rules and just go out and do it. And now's the time, anytime after the first year, don't worry too much about this weekend or that weekend. And when it's dry and the weather's nice, get out there and prune your roses.
And in terms of keeping those insects away, the number one rule is what? To make sure that our roses are insect free.
Well, the best thing to do is you can use a Bayer Advance product. understand what the pests are first.
Yeah.
Make sure that you identify the pest properly. Is it an aphid, or is it something else? Is it a disease, or is it the cultural problems that are causing it? So first of all, and you can, again, we've got problem solvers at Bear Advance that can help you with that, and then we've got products like All-in-One Rose and Flower Care, which are easy to use. You don't have to spray. You just mix it with water.
Sprinkle it on there.
Yeah, you can sprinkle it on in that form, or you can pour it and you mix it with water and pour it at the base of the plant, and you get protection from insects and diseases. So what could be more simpler? And if if you are more inclined to do organic methods of pest control, Bear Advanced has the Natria line.
Yeah.
And we've got some great rose care products in there. The disease control product is actually a bacteria, a form of bacillus that fights the diseases in a natural way, doesn't harm people. And so we've got the options.
And check out the Dick Clark Rose. Lance Walheim.
Absolutely.
Great having you. Happy New Year again, my friend.
Thank you.
All right, as we segue into hour 2, the fun continues on the special broadcast from Post Parade. We're going to have Who Let the Dogs Out? Yeah, those great bulldogs and even some diving dogs that were part of the Natural Balance float are going to be over here with their trainer, Ron Davis, to talk about how'd they do that? How can you get your dogs to do that? And what are they going to do next to top after, snowboarding, and what else have they done? Surfing? I don't know. They're going to maybe do some zip lining next. This is Home Wizards. I'm Cindy Dole. You keep it here because hour 2 and the fun is right now. Let's kick it up a notch, would you?